Hello, everyone. This is going to be really quick, um, but I've been using three editors for a while, one much longer, but these are some editors I think deserve a little bit more attention, more focus. I'm going to walk through them really quick. This will probably overall hopefully be about 5 minutes, but I just want to bubble these up because I think they're really cool pieces of software and they fit a need that's out there. My editor preference tends to be Emacs. Um, GNU Emacs now used to be XEmacs for a while, back before GNU Emacs caught up. But these other editors fill a role, and you think about people who write with a lot of different pens, right? Some is just preference. There's not one thing that fits every need, and these are three editors I found that aren't one of the big two, right? So they aren't Vim, they aren't Emacs, um, and I think they deserve a little bit of attention. The Glamorous Lady Wife, she's got a number of pens. There's a pen for every purpose. I don't think we'll ever get to the point where there's an editor for every purpose, but I do oftentimes fall into that myself, whereas the really simple stuff is just easier in VI, the middle stuff in Emacs, and then oftentimes for a big project, I'll go throw Eclipse at it, or a targeted development environment. I am concerned about the rise of Visual Studio. Like, why is everyone using Visual Studio these days? That is a mystery beyond me. So let's get into it. First one, I may have talked about this before, is jEd. I really like jEd. It does Emacs key bindings, but it also has, let's just edit a file here. So we can do Emacs key bindings. Let me just put some C in here. So I can do a control XS. One of the environment I operate in at work, they use Power Broker, and they have some filtering in place for security. I got it. So some of the Emacs keystrokes don't work, and they're kind of important. This is nice. We get an F10 menu. We can go and do some operations here. And you can also, instead of Emacs, you can do like EDT bindings, WordStar if you're into that. So it's got some great stuff going on here. I really like jEd. Highly recommend it. And for me, I'm tending to use this more and more in terminal over Emacs, right? Even places I might have Emacs available, I'm leaning more towards jEd these days. It's lightweight. Supports some languages. This is not going to be, I don't think, all the languages it does here, but we get C, we get Shell. I'm pretty sure there's a Perl mode available. We get Fortran 90. That covers Python. Unfortunately, that covers what I tend to need to do most of the time. And again, operates a lot like Emacs. Oh, it's really great. Highly recommend it. Actually, see, does it have a Perl mode installed? Right now, I'm at my using my desktop workstation here. It's FreeBSD. Yeah, so we do get a Perl mode. So we get syntax highlighting. Great. I like it. Highly recommend jEd. I think there is an XJED, but I think that just wraps it in an Xterm or RxVT, depending. So really cool. Highly recommend jEd. Next one to take a look at. This is one I came across because, really happenstance as I was pulling down the latest ports tree here, and I saw like E93 just as stuff scrolled by, and I'm like, oh, I should check that out. Turns out it was worthwhile. It's this nifty editor. It's written in Tickle. I'm like, hey, first off, that's great. I think it dates back a while. But as an editor go, it's a little rough around the edges. But what I like about it is the interface here. It is very reminiscent to me, both the default color scheme and this sort of floating menu bar of IRIX and the kind of tool chest. Again, one of my first jobs, um, was building, interfaces in Tickle that mirrored the IRIX toolbox for people's IRIX workstations. So, I have some history there. And you see it defaults. We get some C. We get a shortcut for make. I'm not going to go too much in depth on this, but we have some options here. It can do some nifty things. Basically anything you'd want an editor to do. And here are the language modes. Hey, it supports Verilog. That's a plus for me. Um, we get XML. Let's just do it. Well, why don't we do some XML here? So we get our syntax highlighting. So all looking great. So this is another one, E93, and it does a weird behavior, and I really need to read the docs on this. Well, let's just say I do an ls. Sorry, Alt Enter, and then it brings it back to the editor buffer. So, hey, I think this is pretty nifty. Needs a little bit more investigation. Again, I haven't used it too much. Mainly, it's kind of fit is if I'm here at the desk. I really would be tertiary. It's more about the novelty of the interface, and I think once I get a little more familiar with it, it may come into play. But I still think it's something that maybe isn't that well known. Um, it really needs to be bubbled up. Little honorable mention for Elvis, which again, as a Slackware veteran, that was kind of the default VI. I still think that's kind of the best VI out there. So that is E93. And the last one is probably the most well-known, which is jEdit. And this is just a good, solid editor, but it has a plugin setup. So you get some add-ons here. You can, there's a bunch of plugins. Like this is complicated, but again, Java, so it can run multiple places, which I really, really appreciate. That it is going to be the same on the MacBook, on the Windows, right? It's got some stuff going for it. It's pretty nifty. Like I said, we'll do a new in mode. What do we want to do? What mode do we want to do? Fortran? No, that would be bonkers. Why not? Let's see. We'll do we do C again. But you see here, mainly I'm just scrolling through to see the various modes here that we get. And there's a mode for many, many options here. So, we get Java, we get LaTeX, we get Make. I mean, basically everything you'd possibly need is here. So do we have SQL? That'd be great if we did. SQL loader. Where there's no default SQL. Let's do your XML here again. I don't know why I'm so hung up on XML, maybe because it's old time stuff. Maybe I was dealing with some XML documents. Now, editor, like everything else, we got our file browser. Really, really full-featured editor that is borderline integrated development environment. So we'll do another new in mode because we have already looked at Fox Pro. I unfortunately don't know any Fox Pro. So we get some Fortran here. Um, Again, this is a great editor. It's graping at me. Yeah. Why am I in mount? Okay. Yeah. So I have something mounted. I was ripping some DVDs. Right. We just looked at Jellyfin. I did say 5 minutes. We are well over the 5 minutes. Um, the other feature I did want to call out before we end is the ability to do macro recording. Fantastic stuff. Um, so just to show off the back over to the plugin manager. See what they have here. So like I said, plugins for a lot of stuff. Again, I'm doing a big project. I'm probably going to lean towards Eclipse um, for my big development environment, but I am starting to throw jEdit at more of those. Ooh, I've got kind of that middle size project, right? It's kind of creeping into a little bit of the bottom end of the Eclipse and a little bit of the top end of the Emacs. Finding it really powerful, and the fact that I get um, a Java app that can go sit in multiple places. So really cool. Do leave a comment if you're interested in a little bit more coverage on any of these. Um, we can go in a little bit more in depth. There's not that much depth you can go into in an editor itself. Jed with the slang, and we want to do like a new mode definition or something. Probably could. The E93, again, of these three, I am least familiar with that one, but I think that one has some value. I probably should read the documentation um, on that. Does this have a? Ooh, sorry, I would just like. Yeah, let me see. So again, we're getting into IDE territory here with the. Hey, we've got a SQL plugin to do stuff with the DB terminal. Yeah, yeah. So again, jEdit, wildly powerful. Um, and going in there. But like I said, leave a comment below. Editors are cool, and this is one of the things as people who use these tools, I feel like we should be passionate about them. Um, think about what makes them good, what fits our hand the best, right? Because some of this is what fits our hand the best. Thinking about this with the screwdrivers, right? Is why are there so many screwdrivers? Like once you get to a certain quality of screwdriver, they really are all roughly the same. It's about what fits your hand and what helps you as a tool do your work the best. Which Mac square handle screwdrivers. Like those are my preferred ones. That's a whole other aside. Um, Thanks for listening. Talk to y'all soon.